Hello, Marta.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. This is the first of a new interview series that I'm doing about people in transition or just out of transition who live in Lisbon. So, when I moved here a few years ago, I kept on meeting people who were on the brink of a major transition or who had moved to the city to take on a new life. And a lot of these people had really interesting stories, and I wanted to have a place where I could interview them and ask them a few questions about life between different chapters. I thought there was something really magnetic about that, about them, about the city. So this is my way basically of sitting down with some of these people and asking them, what's your Lisbon transition story? What did it cost you? How did you get through it? And what did you find on the other side? So this is the first one of the series, and I'm so happy to welcome Marta. Marta Cipel is an Italian ceramicist with a beautiful studio in Campo-de-Ric. Check it out when you come to Lisbon. We met, I think, 2 years ago now, through friends in common. I took a few of her pottery classes. She came to a few of my yoga classes. And I just find your work so inspiring and your story also really beautiful. So I'm happy we get to do that. And I'm happy that you are the first one of the interviewees. And to begin, I want to begin by asking you to tell us who you are in your own words and what you do.
Thank you for the introduction. So, hi everyone, I'm Marta. I'm Italian. I'm a ceramic artist. I live in Lisbon. I'm a mom. I'm a friend. I'm a partner. And I'm an entrepreneur. I would resume.
Yes, that's already a lot.
Yes.
Nice. And then we'll get right into the subject, but if you could divide your life into different chapters, what would they look like? What would they be?
I think that probably one of my most important chapters is childhood. And while I'm creating now, I understand how important that layer was for me, is for me. Because I feel that my taste, my aesthetics, the theme that I'm approaching now are things that enter into my life when I was a child. So childhood, and then teenagehood is also an important chapter because this was me trying to break free from my family and trying to make sense of my identity, my world. So that would be a second very important one. Another important chapter is financial independence. I feel that seeking financial independence created a new way of interacting with life and motherhood.
Yeah.
Motherhood is a fourth chapter. Becoming a mother is definitely different from all the other chapters, and probably the current chapter is making sense of all the above. So I would say 5.
Okay, that's good. And do you think Lisbon as a chapter and your life in Lisbon now and with your new-ish activity, is that a chapter or is that on top of the other ones?
I've traveled a lot during my early years, so I don't necessarily combine chapters, and so my division would be my life is divided into chapters that are more related to experiences through like major events rather than locations.
Okay.
Because I've moved so much, locations are important-ish. It's natural for me to move to a city and another. So I would say that this new chapter is more related to the choice of dedicating my my life to creativity. And it's something that I could fully embrace here, but that had started a little bit before Lisbon.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. I like that it's not tied to the location. That's quite interesting, actually.
This is the word that I was looking for.
And of all these chapters, was there one that was really hard to close and one that kind of opened up naturally for you?
Well, I would say that the hardest one to close was, well, since maternity we cannot close it.
That's forever.
Yes. That's forever. But moving from the corporate life to a fully independent and creative artistic life, that's probably the hardest, because you're making a lot of decisions that make sense emotionally or identity-wise, but when you do the math, you're basically throwing yourself into a very irrational project, which is very scary. A lot of people will try to dissuade you from making these decisions. And so that was probably the hardest bit.
Okay. Interesting. And then let's look at some high, low, and like turning points of your life, right? So chapters and now turning points. What has been a really high point of your life so far?
I would say that childhood for me was the best.
Yeah.
I like the intensity, I like the emotions. I remember being a child in a very vivid way and very fulfilling way. And it's interesting because I'm reconnecting a lot with that pure sense of joy that you get when you eat a very nice peach, or when you listen to the radio and you have suddenly a very good song that you love and that you sing, and simple pleasures. So childhood for me was beautiful. I grew up in Italy. I was close to the sea. I had a lot of space. I had a lot of great food, great art, a very, very pure and beautiful way of living. I mean, and this is also something that pushed me to move away from Paris. It's a city that I love so much, but I wanted my child to experience that purity and that intensity of simple things, simple joys that are so precious.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a high part. In terms of low, well, I've been through a lot.
Yeah.
I've been through cancer, so that's probably the lowest point of my life. And probably the hardest is the reconstruction after the trauma, because you don't know who you are anymore. So that it takes a while to reconnect the dots. You see yourself as a different person, but at the same time you want to reconnect with who you were, and so identity-wise this transition was very complicated.
Yeah, I bet. And that was before you moved on to ceramics full-time, kind of.
Yeah, what saved me is that I was doing ceramics at the time, and I had been doing it for a while, and during my treatment I had full access to my studio because it was COVID, so I would go every day, and I had an epiphany because if between life and death the only thing that gives you joy is creating and working with clay, well, maybe you should give it a shot.
Yeah.
So that was in this whole chaos of who am I, what do I want to do, where am I lost, and between all this chaos the creativity part was very clear.
Nice.
It was very anchored. It was very it was calling me. I had a call.
Tell us about that, because I love these stories. Epiphanies, like call, like downloads. I had a few myself, and I find them like such interesting stories. Do you remember like the moment it happened? Was it like something that was like said to you, or were you actually making something and then did you have a calling, or was it more diffuse than that?
I think, well, the first time I've touched clay, way before that, I had an encounter. Like, you know, you meet the love of your life, you somehow you know. So as soon as I've touched, and I work with the wheel, I work with clay, I work with water, it's very physical, it's very sensual, and the way my hands just encounter the clay and the water, all these sensations, I was struck.
You felt it?
I felt it in my gut. And I loved it so much. I became really addicted to it, you know. And I knew from that moment on, I knew that at some point I would love to have my own studio.
Okay.
I also come from a family of artists. I have 2 ceramic artists in my family.
Okay.
So we always had objects. It's a language that was always present in my family and in my house. And then it grew, because the more you give space to something you love, the more it makes sense. Until the point where I was diagnosed with cancer and I stopped working. And so I had access to the studio, and I would go and I would spend my days there.
Okay.
And I would become good at it. And it's so liberating to see that despite the illness, despite the fact that your body's failing, you're learning something new.
Yeah, and you're creating out of pain, kind of. Right?
And you're becoming good at it. And you also see, because it's such a long process to create a piece, it takes weeks to hold something in between your hand that is ready, that is functional, that it's usable. That you can also count the time that passes. And so when you're sick, looking at the time that passes by and having a concrete object that you can hold in between your hands, it's also a victory.
Of course, yeah.
And so this is, here I had a shift that was very concrete.
Okay. So that was the shift, because that was my next question. Perfect.
That was the shift. So it was a calling, because I could feel joy in a very painful moment. And so that made it very clear.
Okay.
And the shift was, I exist. I'm here. This is the proof of where, this is the mirror of who I am. And in defeat, I create.
I love it. That's such a powerful story. Yeah, because it's a bit of a shortcut to say that, but it did save you in a way. Do you feel that way?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think it's very important in chaos to find hooks that hold you.
Yeah.
So whatever transition you're going through, you know, we can talk about motherhood, for example. It's something that many women can relate to. It's so chaotic.
What was your hook? Also creativity. Also clay.
Creativity was my hook. Yoga was my hook. I had met a fantastic teacher, and she helped me with postpartum depression. She helped me finding space. All these activities are basically reminding you that you need space to exist, to breathe. These are practices that have a share.
Yeah, there's a lot in common actually between yoga and ceramics. Yeah, the breath. We talked about that. Nice. And moving on to the transition to Lisbon. So I know you touched upon that a little, but in just a few words, what brought you here? Did the decision, was that something you've been thinking about for a while, or did the decision come to you? Like, I know for me it was a calling, it was kind of a download, but what was your process for moving here?
So, my husband is French Brazilian. We spoke Portuguese. I came to Lisbon with him a couple of times, and even before him with friends. And I love the city. It reminded me of Italy, but at the same time was more exotic because
Different.
It's not my culture.
Yeah.
And after becoming a mom, a parent, the illness, I wanted to find more space for family, for creativity, for all these things. And I started thinking, where could we go? And I didn't want to go back to Italy. South of France wasn't clear. We could have moved there, but at the same time, I have no attachment to the south of France. I wanted to experience something different, maybe a different country. And Portugal would make sense in terms of language because my kids spoke Portuguese. So I decided to do, in my reconstructive journey after cancer, I decided to go and take a yoga retreat in the south of Algarve with some surfing classes.
Oh yeah.
And so I go there. I spend a week. It's like end of February, and the sun is out, and the weather is fantastic, and it's February, and I go into the water. Of course, I have a suit, but I go into the water, and then I dry my hair in the sun, and then I remind myself of my childhood years, and I tell to myself, but this is life. This is how I want to. This is the good life I want. So I hold on to this idea, and then do a tarot reading with a lady, very talented lady that is in Paris, and we do the spread, and in the spread then she tells me, I see that you are going to move to a southern country, leave your corporate job, turn to a manual activity that you love. I see a lot of cups, so maybe she didn't know anything about me. So maybe pottery, maybe ceramics.
Wow.
And that you are going to start a new chapter, and you're going to be very scared financially, but eventually you will make it work.
Wow, that's great.
So
I didn't know that story.
She told me all these things that were in the back of your mind. Back of my mind, but sounded somehow very silly, so that I never actually shared out loud. And then I called my husband and I told him, let's move to Portugal. And he said yes.
Perfect. And I love that it came from a tarot reading.
Yes.
That's so interesting. And after a yoga retreat.
Yes.
Nice.
And so this was end of February 2022, I would say. And August we were in Lisbon.
You moved, okay. Yeah. So really short after.
Yeah.
You knew, then it was clear.
Then it was very
Probably
clear.
She said things that were already boiling.
Absolutely.
And then you made it happen, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It helps a lot, this kind of cards, readings, or I think sometimes when we have something that we don't dare to say aloud, someone else saying something like this to us makes us feel like, oh, it clicks. Right?
I think there's a relief also, because it's as if you weren't responsible for...
Someone else said it.
Someone else said it.
Yeah.
And so somehow it releases the pressure. Because I feel that in transitions, what is blocking us is expectations and pressure.
Fear, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great story. I love that story. We touched on that a little, but what helped you during transitional times? You said yoga and creativity. If you could just, give us your top 5. And then also any kind of resources like books or podcasts or any like material also.
Definitely every activity related to breath, so breath work is very important. I feel that we are often dissociating too many things. We focus too much on the transition in itself rather on the things that we know. So the transition is scary. Why? Because there is a lot of things that are unknown. But eventually, if you break them down and you try to reconnect with yourself and understand what you do know in this transition, because you know a lot of things, this helps. And this leads me to a great book that changed my life. I know we've been talking a lot about this, which is The Artist's Way.
Yes.
Because in The Artist's Way, you have a lot of concrete exercises that you can do in order to understand clear things. Instead of running into this big chaos, you're trying to underline and highlight what you know of yourself, of the situations, of how you want to organize things, on, practical tools that we can use. So this is definitely...
that's a big one. Yeah, and for those of you who never heard of The Artist's Way, it's basically a book, I think it's 30 years old now already, and it's from Julia Cameron. She's an American author, and she put together a 12-week program to basically recover your creativity through different tasks. So every week you have different tasks to do. The 2 main ones are morning pages, so basically stream of consciousness journaling when you wake up in the morning, and then the artist dates. So every week you take yourself on a date for your own artist. So these are the 2 main pillars of the program, and then every week you have different things that you do, and I think it's a life-changing book. It's so powerful. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
You should do maybe some exercises.
Yeah.
with the community.
Yeah. So I'm working on creating a program that is partly inspired by some of the Artist Way exercise, because I think there is so much power in very simple tools, right? Like asking yourself the right questions. And also, I don't know if you did that, the morning pages, do you still do that somehow? I
used to do them a lot. I do them when I'm all over the place. Right now I'm feeling in a right place, so I'm not doing them as much.
But you have phases.
I have phases.
Yeah.
I have phases. Yeah.
That makes sense. And then artist date, did you do that? I found this was the hardest part.
And the artist date, yes, I do it because I'm naturally in need of that. So I really need a moment in my week where I do something for myself.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's also quite powerful, I think.
But so this is the book.
The Artist Way is the big one.
Really helped. The other thing that I do a lot is that helped me a lot is this book by Marina Abramovic, Walking Through Walls, and it's another book that I really recommend to if you haven't read it.
I haven't read this one.
I
know of it, but I haven't read it.
So she's a performance artist, and she dealt in her performances with extreme situations, going through pain, going through like body and physical pain, or she spent I don't know how many hours doing a performance where she's basically sitting and staring at people in the eyes, and she's not allowed to sneeze, to go to the toilet, to eat. She's basically there, and I think that she stayed there for like
A
3
few
days,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
in a
I
row,
think so. Yeah.
sitting
Yeah.
there, not moving. So she really pushes. She explores the extreme of the human body and the control of the mind over the body. So extremely interesting. So before she does these performances, she writes a contract to herself before she even starts training for them, with all the do's and the don'ts, with all the gray areas, and with the solutions and processes that she can accept in order for the performance to be successful.
Okay, and that's the book.
And that's
the book is about that.
The book
contract.
is about the book is about her life, but you have a lot of these contracts that she writes to herself. And that was also, for me, that was a game changer, because in a transition, as we said, you're in chaos, you're panicking about the unknown. But if you actually sit down and you acknowledge all these elements that are scary, and how you're willing to face them, are they going to be permanent? Are they going to be temporary? What does temporary for you means? How long are you willing to be patient, to wait and see if things are going to get better? So this is basically a contract with yourself.
Okay, interesting.
And I find the tool extremely powerful, because it sets a frame that we don't normally do. And when you have a frame, you usually feel supported.
Yes, and it gives you direction and support. So
that's also having clarity, using a pen and a piece of paper to have all the clarity and your tools and your the rules also that you set to yourself. This is something very important. And then community, talking to people, interviewing people, listening to podcasts. I think it's important if you're moving to another country, or if you're changing your job, or listening to people that have done that before you. This is key, because you have an experience for somebody that took the leap, and it's in a different phase, and that can make sense of what is scary. So
and it gives you perspective.
Absolutely.
And it also shows you, like, they've done it. Your experience is going to be different, but other people have done that, so it's possible.
Absolutely.
It's like expanders, kind of. Right? Yeah. Cool. Mindfulness practices. So we touched on that a little. Yoga, meditation, breath work, you said. Meditation. We didn't talk about that. Or is meditation a practice of yours, or is working with clay your meditation? Because when I took the classes with you, I found that, especially the wheel, was so hypnotizing, and it was kind of a meditative trance in a way. So curious about your meditation practice, if you have one, or something that will get you into a state of meditation.
I'm awful at meditating on my own. I
Most
try
people
to.
are,
it's very, 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 very difficult for me to sit still and just try to meditate. However, I love being alone, and when I create, I put myself in a very, very, very meditative state, where I'm hyper conscious about things. And actually it's so interesting, because I'm in a sort of state of trance where a lot of things also emerge, because I'm open, and
it's the flow state.
Yes,
right?
The filters are removed, and I'm good to myself. That's also very important, is that in these meditative states, I reconnect with myself, and I'm good to myself. I stop, because I push myself a lot. I always think if I have done enough, if I'm I really push myself a lot, and this is why I love creating so much, is that I shut down all this part, and I try to listen to other sides of myself. So I would say that clearly my meditation goes through creativity.
Okay. Yeah, and
I
that's
need a
a great
channel.
way. Yeah.
That would be probably, and clay is a channel.
Yeah.
This is why also art therapy is so powerful with clay, because you connect.
The sense of touch also, and the fact that it's a natural material, right?
And you can close your eyes. I mean, you breathe, you close your eyes, and in the end, it's your hand that guides you, and so it's another part of you that is rising and guiding you, because it's not
your brain, right?
No, it's not your eyes.
Yeah.
Because eyes are so superficial. They trick you all the time, and I feel that eyes are the one that lead you to all these criticism or all these.
Interesting.
The eyes trick you all the time. You know, they trigger so much. They trigger anxiety. They trigger. I feel that when I'm anxious, if I close my eyes and I touch things, it helps me to ground myself.
Yeah, but I think meditation for a lot of people is a bit intimidating, and most people will have a hard time just sitting and even listening to a meditation or just being here. And in my experience, after a yoga class, for example, people who have accessed their body, their sensations, and who can tune into themselves a little more after an hour of movement, for example, it becomes a little easier, right? Like at the end of a yoga practice. But I think, yes, the clay, when I tried it, I thought it was super interesting in that regards. It just takes you right in the moment, like
Absolutely.
In the present. Like it's all about being right here. And I think meditation is all about that, right? Like being fully present to anything that comes up.
Absolutely. And you feel also something that I love is that when the clay starts to spin too much and is all over the place, if you close your eyes and you breathe through the wave, you actually manage to realign the clay. So you have a clear visualization of what might happen to you, is that when you're caught into this flow of anxiety, if you breathe through it, eventually you find your stability again. So this is also what I love with clay, is that you visualize a lot of the flaws that we have, a lot of the fragilities that we have, a lot of the tensions, the cracking, the stress, because clay
can be stressed, right? I remember you taught me that, and I love that idea. But I think it's a great metaphor of life.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There's so much that the fire,
and I have a lot
fragility.
Of people that come to the studio and understand things about themselves, you know, like
for sure.
I need to have a lighter touch in life. I need to learn when to stop. You know, these are things that
it's very spiritual.
Yeah. It is.
No, for sure.
It is.
Nice. How do you connect to your intuition? I think you are a very intuitive person.
Yes, I am.
So just tell us a few words about that. How do you connect to that? Is that something natural, or do you have to make it a practice? And I know you love to spend time by yourself, and is that something that helps also?
I think yes, absolutely. I'm a very instinctive person by nature. I have a very hard time trusting people, and so I trust my guts. And I was telling you, my everything I live is very intense.
Mm-hmm.
So these are voices that you cannot ignore.
Mm-hmm.
When they are that loud and clear. You just have to go.
Go with it. Yeah.
Also, I'm an Aries, so Aries are very fiery and crash into walls and then start again. I'm more afraid of stillness
Mm-hmm.
than movement in general. So I love intuition. I think it's a blessing. I think it's a very interesting exercise to listen to your inner voice.
Mm-hmm.
You have beautiful things that happen from that. So, and as an artist, most of the things are based upon intuition. So it's also all of my practice. It's based on that.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is research. But the first hint
is what you feel inside, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's great. Very inspiring. What would you tell someone? I know you said a few things here and there, but someone who's standing in the middle or just before major transition, let's say someone who's going to become a mom or someone who's going to move somewhere or going to quit their corporate job, like what's the one piece of advice you would give them?
That nothing is permanent, so jump. Some moments will be hard, but nothing is permanent, and eventually you will make it through, and it will be a good decision. And if it's not, you will make another one. So, yeah, I've tattooed on my ribs a sentence in Italian, and it's tutto passa.
Ah, yeah. You have it tattooed?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have a tattoo.
This too shall pass. Yeah.
Yes.
To pass. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
so
a great
I think it's important to keep this in mind and visualize it in a very clear way, whether you're going through a break in your professional life, in your personal life, or transitions can be in many different fields. Nothing is permanent. We are not permanent.
Tutto passa.
Yeah,
and it sounds so much better in Italian. Of course.
Yeah. But this is clearly my takeaway on that.
Yeah, that's a great one. I love it. So that's your mantra, basically.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
Pantarei is also means more
Which
or
one?
less. Pantarei means
Pantarei. Okay.
It's also about transformation. It's also about.
What does that mean, actually?
It's the fact that nothing. So it's based on Greek mythology, but it's the idea that you go into a river and everything flows, everything passes.
Okay.
You know, so there is transformation. It's a flow.
Okay.
Everything, it's renewal and continuous. So nothing is permanent in that sense.
Yeah, and I think the water image helps, right?
Yeah, the river.
The river.
The river, it's such a good way of thinking that nothing is still and
it's always in movement. Yeah, that's a good one.
And if the river doesn't move, then it's smelly and
not good. Yeah,
it's not
no
good.
Bueno. All right, we'll wrap up with a few rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
You ready? Coffee or tea?
It's a very hard one. I love both, but I'm Italian and I need caffeine.
The Italian takes over. Favorite color?
Blue. I love blue. You come to my house, everything is blue.
You have blue on you. Your necklace is blue.
I love blue. I love the depth of it. I love water. I love the intensity. It's a very intense color. And it's sad but peaceful.
Nice. Favorite book?
I have a few, but the one that stays with me, also because childhood and teenagehood are very important in the book, is this book by Simone de Beauvoir, Memories of a Dutiful Daughter. in English.
Yeah.
Love that book. It's about transitions.
Yeah.
And it's actually 3 tomes. But the first one is my favorite.
The first one is good, yeah.
Because it's the making of a woman.
Yeah, and you understand when you read it, I loved it too, when you read it you understand what made her what she became, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's fascinating.
Yeah, of course, she's exceptional. Favorite artist?
I love, so I'm going to tell a woman first. I love Carla Cardi, who is an Italian painter, Sicilian from the 20th century. And she comes from a very traditional, old-fashioned Italy, and was able to thrive with her abstract painting, and created a beautiful language of symbols and using very powerful colors, contrast, a lot of contrast. And I love Lucio Fontana, who is more a sculptor, and he explores material and space through cuts.
I know his work, some of his work. Yeah,
and my ceramic work is mostly inspired by his work.
Okay.
I love the materiality. I love the way he understands space. And yeah, he's my favorite.
Perfect. Favorite Lisbon spot?
The Gulbenkian.
The museum.
Yes. Yes, because
the museum and it has
you
a lot
have
of
everything. You have the
like,
gardens, you have the auditorium that is beautiful because it overlooks, so you're sitting at a concert and you overlook the garden, so it's super special. It's a brutalist architecture, so you have concrete, you have the vegetation, you have wood, you have works of art. It's a very special place.
I agree.
You have design chairs that are beautiful.
Yeah.
It's my favorite spot.
Nice. That's
the
really
library
good
is
one.
amazing also.
Yeah, I heard the library, if you are an artist, if you can prove that you're an artist or show proof, then you can work from there, and it's apparently exceptional.
It's beautiful. It overlooks the garden as well, so beautiful light. You have, it's all wood. It's so special.
Nice.
Yeah. One of my, so you will find me there.
Yes, your study room. Your mantra, so you said maybe tutto passa, or?
There's tutto passa, and I would say that breathe through the wave, breathe through chaos.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, it's a very important one. Because we have this tendency to, the more stressed you are, the more you hold your breath.
Yeah.
And actually, if you breathe through it, it stops.
It will be okay. Yeah, breathe. Tell us something a bit weird or quirky, like something that people don't know about you.
I love going to expensive restaurants on my own. Even doing testing menus on my own. It's something that I love. My husband does not enjoy eating as much as I do. And I've been developing this habit. And I like it because you take time on your own. You take yourself on a date, basically.
Yeah, it's a big artist date.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. I love this one. And then last question for you, Marta. Who should I interview next? Who do you think would have an interesting transition story in relation to Lisbon?
I would say that everybody that I know has an interesting transition story. In terms of artist, I love Chloe from Rhyme Studios.
Yes, okay.
And I would love to hear more about her transition.
Story, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, I'll ask her.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because she moved, she's British, she moved to LA, lived many years in LA, and then came back to Europe. So you have a few layers of transitions there.
Cool. I'll ask her.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you
so much. Merci.